Good afternoon and welcome to this Thursday, February 28th edition of Westman Newsline, our last of this school year. I'm Randy Joseph Lilly alongside Sarah Francis and Colton Yarch. In today's news, we'll bring you more about the anti-bullying legislation that was introduced. As well, Manitoba Reserves are welcoming a new kidney disease detection program that will give results almost immediately. And Sarah will be in with sports. Sarah, I hear the Wheat Kings took the Swift Current Broncos into overtime.
That's right, Randy. The game did go into overtime, but the Wheaties weren't able to get the W. I'll have that story and more later on in sports.
Thanks, Sarah. And Colton will be in with weather. Colton, we've reached the final show of the season, and I have to ask, are we going out like a lion or like a lamb?
Weather-wise, I may be a Leo, but there won't be any roaring today. Currently in Brandon, it's partly cloudy and -10. There's a light breeze out of the east-southeast. That's it for now, but I'll be back later on in the show with your full weather details.
Despite public protests, officials are promising that schools in the Steinbach area of Manitoba will accommodate and support any student who wants to form a gay-straight alliance. Randy Hildebrand is chairman of the board of the Hanover School Division, which operates 4 schools around Steinbach. He says his division will comply with anti-bullying legislation brought in by Education Minister Nancy Allen. A protest meeting against Bill 18 drew 1,200 people in Steinbach on the weekend. Many signed petitions accusing Allen of threatening their religious freedom. Hildebrand and Allen met on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, Hildebrand said the division wants to ensure a safe learning environment for all its students. The Manitoba government says the risk of flooding this year is considerably less than the last bad flood year, 2011. In its first flood outlook of the year, the government says soil moisture levels have been well below those in 2011, when severe flooding forced thousands of people to leave their homes. The government says there could be a risk of minor to moderate flooding along the Red, Assiniboine, Souris, and Pembina rivers. The reason for concern is that there have been more snow than average in most areas of the province and in areas upstream. As always, the flood threat depends largely on weather in April and May, as well as how quickly the snow melts. Lawyers for a man charged with second-degree murder for hitting his wife with a hammer 57 times while they were watching a hockey game on TV say they will show he was mentally ill at the time. Miloslav Kapsik's 59-year-old wife, Ludmila, was killed in their home in March of 2010. Defense lawyers want Kapsik, who is 63, to be found not criminally responsible on the grounds he couldn't control or appreciate his violent actions. If successful, he would not go to prison, but would instead be placed under the care of medical officials who would determine his fate. The Crown is challenging Kapsik's claim of mental illness, saying they believe he knew exactly what he was doing, even if there is no apparent motive for his actions. A First Nations leader is lauding a new mobile screening program in Manitoba that will allow medical staff to detect kidney disease in people on reserves in under 15 minutes. Health Canada contributed $1.6 million to the project, which combines parts of 2 existing programs in the province. Grand Chief Derek Nepanak of the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs says First Nations suffer the highest rates of kidney failure requiring dialysis in Canada. Assiniboine Community College's students' environmental knowledge is being showcased at ACC's new sustainable horticulture greenhouse. Utilizing the warmth of the sun's energy in plant production, the greenhouse may have the answer to producing Manitoba's own food supply during long winter months. The greenhouse complex, built in August of 2012, houses vegetable plant varieties that are grown for use in sustainable food production. A perfect example of that can be found each year during the Manitoba Institute of Culinary Arts Grey Owl Restaurant program.
The climatic conditions in Manitoba is very harsh. It's not favorable for food production, especially vegetables. What we can do is to have greenhouses. Around that we can, if we can provide energy, we can use that to produce food all year round. We have the fruit vegetables, we have leafy greens, and we also have sprouts, and we also produce baby greens in here.
The use of indoor greenhouses as well as outdoor cold frames are part of a necessary vision for long-term sustainable horticulture in Manitoba. And with that, let's take a look at where today's money markets are currently sitting.
Westman Newsline, produced by the IMA Media Production students of Assiniboine Community College. Local news, weather, and sports on Brandon's only TV newscast, Westman Newsline, airing at 1 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on WCG TV.
History is unfolding in Vatican City. Pope Benedict XVI has finished his tenure. He stepped down just moments ago at 1 p.m. Manitoba time, marking his nearly 8-year run as the leader of the Catholic faith and its 1.2 billion followers. Elizabeth Corden brings us the story of his final farewell.
Pope Benedict XVI greeting the Catholic cardinals as pontiff for one final time.
Personally, I would like to say that I will continue to serve you in prayer.
Before he retreats into retirement, the Pope met with each cardinal in attendance individually. They're sending him off with thanks for his service and best wishes for his future.
Holy Father, you should know that our heart was burning too when we walked with you during the last 8 years. And once again, we want to express to you all our gratitude.
The Pope is marking this day with little pomp or circumstance, but it is no less historic. Benedict XVI is the first leader of the Catholic faith to resign in 6 centuries. By the end of the day, he'll be at his temporary new home, Castel Gandolfo, with his new title, Pope Emeritus. A permanent residence is being prepared for him at the Vatican. The cardinals who have flocked to Rome for this final farewell will soon enter conclave, where they will elect the next pope.
I promise my obedience and respect for the next pope.
Along with the prestige that comes with the title of pope, Benedict's successor will also inherit challenges, anger, and wavering support in the wake of an ongoing clergy sex abuse scandal. But for now, when the clock strikes 8 tonight in Rome, Benedict XVI will be officially retired, and there will be no pope in residence at the Vatican. I'm Elizabeth Corden reporting.
It's no secret the Catholic Church has taken a lot of hits in recent years, and in some parts of the world the religion is on the decline. But as CNN's Rafael Romo explains, a priest in Mexico has come up with a clever way to connect with Catholics.
At this Catholic church in the North Mexican city of Saltillo, the bells of change are ringing. Take a close look at the priest's robe. Yes, that's an image of Superman on his back, and if you look just above, you'll notice the Batman logo. Father Humberto Alvarez says his purpose is to break with protocol and depart from tradition to energize parishioners, especially the youngest ones.
If you want the truth, come and get it.
He also uses Spider-Man's story to inspire children.
He is a character that appears to be lethargic and sleepy in his personal life, and the message is that in the same way that Spider-Man awakens when he must do good, our young people must do the same.
Using superheroes for inspiration is just the beginning. When it comes to dispensing holy water, Father Alvarez uses a water gun, and children at his mass seem delighted. On a recent Sunday, it was standing room only at Father Alvarez's church.
For 11 years, this place was dead. Thanks to the new style of doing Mass, people have responded in an incredible way. It's not only about spreading the gospel, but also about having people commit to something.
A leader of a powerful drug cartel was arrested in Saltillo in November, and drug crime has plagued this part of Mexico in recent years. The priest says he only deals with toy guns and asks children to stay as far away as possible from the real thing. Parents seem to approve of his way of reaching out to children.
I am very glad about it because this Mass has attracted a lot of children, and also their parents have gotten closer to the church.
Father Alvarez says he has the blessing of church authorities, and even though some conservative Catholics have complained about his style, most parishioners like it because they're seeing results and because his more compelling message is reaching more people than ever before. Rafael Romo, CNN, Atlanta.
That's it for news, but stay tuned. Colton's up next with Newsline Weather.
Good afternoon with Newsline Weather. I'm Colton Yarch. With the weekend just around the corner, I suggest making some outdoor plans because the weekend will be a gorgeous one. Currently in Brandon, it's partly cloudy and -10. There is a light breeze out of the east-southeast. This evening, expect a partly cloudy sky and a temperature of -11. Winds will be 10 kilometers per hour out of the east. Overnight, those clouds will hang around and will drop down to -17, but the wind will continue to blow lightly. Taking a look at our radar image, as you can see, there is no precipitation slated for the Brandon area. Moving to our satellite image, more cloud cover from the central United States should make its way to Brandon over the weekend. Turning to our 5-day forecast now. Tomorrow and Saturday, we will see beautiful temperatures and light winds. Sunday and Monday, we can expect some flurries for both days and strong winds. Tuesday, we'll see the return of the sunshine, light winds, and a high of -7. Now let's take a look around the region. Winnipeg is in at -13. Portage la Prairie is in at -14. Dauphin checks in at -15. Meanwhile, Neepawa -12. Carberry -14. Killarney -10. Minnedosa -11. And Verdun will round us out in at -12. Seasonal norms for this time of year are a high of -5 and a low of -16. The record high was set back in 1988 when we hit a mild 7.2. The record low was a frosty -41.7 back in 1962. Once again in Brandon, it's partly cloudy and -10. There is a light breeze out of the east-southeast. That's it for weather, but stick around. Sarah's up next with Newsline Sports.
Good afternoon with Newsline Sports. I'm Sarah Francis. Rookie defenseman Bryson Martin scored his second goal in the first season at 1:05 into overtime. As the Swift Current Broncos edged the Brandon Wheat Kings 3-2 Wednesday in Western Hockey League action. It's the Wheat Kings' 5th loss in a row. Richard Niedemel and Ryan Moser scored in the first period to give the Broncos a 2-0 lead. Quinton Lissaway scored for Brandon in the second period, and Taylor Cooper tied it on the power play at 4:26 on the third period. Corbin Bowe stopped 31 shots for the Wheat Kings, while Swift Current goalie E2 Lauren Kanan made 20 saves. Ryan Kesler lasted only 7 games before being forced out of the Vancouver Canucks lineup again. The Canucks say Kesler will be out for up to 6 weeks because of a broken right foot. It's not clear when the injury occurred, but coach Alain Vigneault says Kesler might have been playing with it before it was diagnosed. Kesler returned to action 2 weeks ago after taking longer to recover from an off-season shoulder surgery. There's word the Kansas City Chiefs have agreed to acquire quarterback Alex Smith from San Francisco for a second-round pick and a conditional draft pick. However, the trade won't become official until March 12th, when the NFL's new business year begins. Smith lost his starting job to Colin Kaepernick after sustaining a concussion on November 11th. And Randy, that's it for sports.
Thanks, Sarah. And that's all the time we have for you today, as this is the final edition of Westman Newsline for the 2012-13 season. We would all like to thank you for tuning in, and we hope you'll join us again this fall when a new interactive media arts class will work hard to bring you the news. On behalf of Colton Yarich, Dylan Donald, and everyone else behind the scenes, thank you for supporting Brandon's only TV newscast, Westman Newsline.